have time, I would have wished to do streamlining during the day when the event by Sifuna was going on. We are going to talk about this matter for a very, very long time, just to give different perspectives of what is happening. Guys, it's comedy, it is reckoning, it is very interesting, right? Yeah, so of course, Senator Sifuna currently, people are now pressing him to go for the presidential seat. I don't know what you think about this. I would actually prefer that he joins the opposition, united opposition, so that we have a strong team. We are just competing, having two horses. Because if we actually have Sifuna going as the third candidate, we are not so sure about collecting all the votes from opposition. So I would have preferred that this group should actually join the united opposition. But when you listen to what Orengo said today, Orengo indicates that Baba indicated that not at any point should ODM do a coalition. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen. But now when you look at what happened in Kakamega, guys, I'm happy and I'm so proud of my people, guys. Okay, so for them to have managed to really stand the tear gases regardless, that was something. The last time that our own guy was shouting Wanandi wachukue, people laughed at Kakamega people so much, and they came about to say that Kakamega people are useless, worthless. And it was quite shaming when you look at Malava's situation, when this guy actually just threw caution to the wind and decided to shout after people had tried to stand with him. You know? So, indeed, I can see that politics needs strong people. People who don't fear because they have been threatened. Remember, before this rally was handled or rallied, we saw the governor and vice deputy governor of Kakamega talking against the meeting. Regardless of that, Sifuna went ahead with BABU and they held the meeting. In fact, they were greeted just a day before. One of their trainers was actually attacked on the way to the venue. But they didn't give up, and that's the spirit that we really need for people who are standing in opposition. Anybody who is faint-hearted, you don't have space in politics, right? Yeah, so let's check on what happened at Kakamega today. Of course, I know by now many people are already aware, but then this is my perspective of the analysis, and let's to see about it. So I'm so proud about the people of Kakamega. They had actually promised that they are going to defend their own son Sifuna as he comes to Kakamega, and indeed they did so. Now Sifuna himself was also very strong, because even when they threw tear gas, he told them to just step on it, and indeed they did it. Guys, this is a true spirit that we need from patriotic Kenyans and true leaders, because you cannot be a leader when you are a faint-hearted person. You need to be ready. Now, remember, Sifuna announced while in Busia that he's ready to die, because if they have to kill him, of course they know he's home and he will be buried. But at least so many Sifunas will come up. And of course I can see it is not just in Kitengela, not just in Busia, but now all over the place. Now, of course, they have announced that they are going very soon to Mombasa. They are also planning to go to Northeastern and among other places, Machakos and all that. I really wish them well, but one thing I am not so sure about is if they stand as now another opposition branch 3, what is going to happen to the votes of the opposition? Anyway, let's follow this.
Focus of national political attention today as thousands gathered for the Linda Mwananchi rally, a movement that has recently gained momentum across several parts of the country. By the morning of February 21st, supporters were already arriving in large numbers at Amalemba grounds in Kakamega town. The turnout began building early, with crowds braving the cold morning as they waited for the leaders associated with the campaign to arrive. The The rally forms part of a wider tour linked to figures within or aligned to the factions of the Orange Democratic Movement. Among the key leaders expected at the event are Nairobi Senator and ODM SG Edwin SIFUNA, Siaya Governor James Orengo, and Embakasi East Member of Parliament BABU. The messaging behind the Linda Mwananchi movement has largely centered on the cost of living, government accountability, and political developments within the opposition space. But as the crowds gathered in KAKAMEGA, attention quickly shifted to development happening across petrol stations in different parts of the county. Videos circulating online began showing large numbers of border riders lining up to fuel their motorcycles ahead of the rally. In several locations, the queues stretched across multiple stations, drawing public attention and raising questions about the mobilization happening on the ground. What made the situation more notably was what many of the riders were wearing. A number of them had reflective jackets marked with the word two-term. The presence of these reflectors quickly became a major talking point online and within the political conversation surrounding the rally. In some recordings shared by witnesses and people at the stations, a few riders were heard saying they were simply fueling fast before heading to join the Linda Mwananchi rally in Kakamega town.
Hapa watu wanakunywa mafuta. Watu mafuta ya bure. Lexo hapa tu mafuta. Huko ni sherehe. Hadi tutakunywa kile kitu. Form ni SIFUNA.
These added a new dimension to earlier claims circulating online, suggesting that certain groups might be mobilized either to influence or disrupt the event. However, another moment captured in some of the circulating videos has drawn even more attention. After fueling their motorcycles, some individuals were reportedly seen removing the two-term reflectors and burning them nearby. In other cases, the reflectors were discarded. The scenes have triggered widespread speculation about what exactly was happening, whether the riders had initially been mobilized under a different banner or whether they were choosing to distance themselves from it before heading to the rally.
Stand out as a data-driven leader and position yourself for high
Oh
growth
my
goals.
God, Kakamega
Unlock
people,
lucrative global
they did
career
me proud today. I'm telling you.
At the moment, there is no the purpose of the reflectors or the exact organization behind them. What is known is based largely on videos and eyewitnesses' accounts shared online throughout the morning. While this was happening across Kakamega County, leaders connected to the rally were making their way in the region, despite earlier concerns and claims circulating about possible travel disruptions. Reports indicate that Edwin SIFUNA and BABU arrived safely through Kakamega airstrip before the rally. Their arrival energized the crowds that are already gathered at Amalemba grounds waiting to receive them. Meanwhile, the police also addressed the situation publicly. Western Regional Police Commander Isaac Mahood stated that the authorities had not received formal notification about the rally from organizers. According to him, police only became aware of the event through social media discussions.
Allegations that tomorrow we'll have a rally led by Senator SIFUNA, Senator from Nairobi, and his function and his team. They want to make a rally at Amalemba. So
not from an earthquake, but from the raw, unfiltered power of the people. On Saturday, what was billed as just another political rally in Kakamega and at Amalemba grounds became a political earthquake that has sent tremors straight to the corridors of State House and cracked the fragile foundations of the Oburu Odinga-led ODM faction. Led by the indomitable ODM Secretary Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, the Linda Mwananchi Brigade stormed into Kakamega like a red tsunami. The lineup was a who is who of the real opposition muscle. Edwin Sifuna, the man of the moment, the voice that refuses to be silenced. BABU MP, the street fighter who brings the fire. James Orengo, Siaya governor, the legal giant and Raila loyalist turned people's defender. Godfrey Osotsi, Vihiga senator, the strategist. Caleb Amisi, the youthful firebrand among others, and a host of other defiant ODM leaders, MPs and grassroots warriors who have chosen the people over palace politics. From the early morning, supporters braved the cold and flooded Amalemba grounds in their thousands, a massive procession rolling through town, turning streets into rivers of organic energy. What started as an attempted sabotage backfired spectacularly. Hundreds of boda riders, initially deployed as goons clad in two-term reflectors and queued up at a petrol station for free fuel to disrupt the event, flipped the script. After fueling up, they torched the two-term reflectors in a fiery rejection, declaring their true loyalty to Sifuna. No paid red uniformed crowds here, just thousands of genuine organic supporters packing the grounds on the streets, waving their hands high. Despite heavy police presence and reports of a Linda Mwananchi truck being stoned en route the day before, the momentum was unbreakable. Chaos erupted the instant Sifuna took the mic. Tear gas canisters rained down near the podium, sending plumes of smoke into the air. The crowd surged in fury, and the alleged tear gas thrower, a suspected goon linked to the sabotage efforts, was snapped by the masses and beaten mercilessly. In a dramatic moment of humanity amid the tension, Owino leaped in, pleaded with the raging youth to spare the man's life and instead drag him to the podium for all to see. They said they will take him to Nairobi to Murkomen. The crowd relented. The goon was brought forward, and the rally pressed on without further violence from the people. Sifuna stood his ground unflinchingly, waving off the choking fumes and thundering to the crowd. Zima hiyo kitu kama bangi ya jana, funika na jacket. Mkutano lazima uendelee, hatutoroki leo. Put that thing like yesterday's bang. Put out that thing like yesterday's bang. Cover it with a jacket. The meeting must continue. We are not leaving today.
Zima hiyo kitu, mkutano uendelee, hatutoroki leo. Hatutoroki leo. Hatutoroki leo. Kitu. Zima hiyo kitu, mkutano uendelee. Funika na jacket. Funika na jacket, mkutano lazima itaendelea. Tuendelee, tusiendelee, hakuna siku. Leo hatutoroki. Zima hiyo kitu kama nyongi ya jana. Vijana murudi. Leo hakuna mkutano inaisha.
Supporters stormed out the canisters, covered their faces, and the chants exploded louder than before. Sisi ndio Sifuna, sisi ndio Sifuna. The chant started as a murmur and became a roar that drowned out everything else. We are Sifuna. The crowd thundered, turning the slogan into a war cry. Placards reading Sifuna for President 2027 could be dotted in the sea of supporters.
Kakamega oye! Kakamega oye! Munaniona vizuri?
Tear gas before the microphones were even tested, before the first speech, before the first chant. At 5:45 a.m., Amalemba grounds was already filling up. By 6 a.m., Kakamega town was choked with people.
And then more than 10 tear gas canisters were lobbed into a crowd that hadn't even had a single speech. This was supposed to be disruption. It became ignition. Because somewhere between Luanda and Haega, a fleet of boda boda riders allegedly mobilized with free fuel and shiny two-term reflectors flipped the script and set the symbols on fire. By 7 a.m., Edwin SIFUNA had landed in Kakamega to a reception that made one thing clear. Western Kenya is not reading from the same political script. Organizers were still setting up the stage at Amalemba grounds. Sound systems were being wired. Volunteers were arranging chairs. This wasn't a rally in motion. It was preparation. Then plainclothes officers allegedly moved in. Over 10 tear gas canisters.
Alright guys, so of course you've witnessed what happened in Kakamega. I've just found a lot of fun in the happenings of the day. Can you imagine having planned a failure to something, trying to curtail it, trying to make sure that it doesn't happen, then boom, from somewhere, it becomes an ignition that makes it happen. It's such an embarrassment to the government, and how I wish they would just let it be. How do they talk about democracy when at the same time they try to suffocate it? But how I wish that this suffocation will end. And in the process, both the United Opposition and the ODM rebel group will manage to actually divert the attention of the citizens to understand that even when they are bribed, they don't really have to go into goonism. Yesterday, I was actually very anxious to see what will happen, and I thought that maybe citizens would have to give in. But I'm so happy at what the people of Kakamega did, because they have done us proud. The border borders in this place are not stupid. They have actually realized that the seriousness of the event behind political marching is for them. Because actually, if you have good leaders, all of us will gain. We will have to smile. The economy will improve. Currently, of course, the economy is too bad. Sometimes a place you used to use a boda, you are now literally walking to work. You are now literally walking maybe to reduce the distance so that you pay less. And this is biting hard on very many people, including the borders. So they would be the last people actually to accept to be goons. I normally don't understand those who allow themselves to get into goonism. What is so wrong with picking that money and you don't do what they have asked you? Now I'm looking at the group of the borders who received fuel and then later on never did what they did. That speaks volumes. So it means that if any candidate believes in bribery for 2027, they are done. Now today, of course, or I'll just talk about the 2 weeks or 3. The elections for Kuppet officials and NAT has been going on. Now the declaration even for the teachers was sweep the offices clean. And unless a leader was really doing the best for the leaders representing them, most of the teachers were decampaigning them and making sure that when they come to school, they present their money. Of course, they share those hundreds or eat the eggs or take the bread or take the soda. But at the end of the day, when it comes to voting, you tell them, my vote is my secret. And of course, you go ahead and do the wiping and only pick if there is anybody who was in office. You only consider if they were really doing the job, because you find that some executive, even in Kuppet or NAT, some of them were not really working for the teachers. They were working for their families or stomachs. Somebody gets into an office after 3 months, they are driving, they are building houses left and right, and all they were doing is to solicit for groups of people who are friends and offer them favors. Sometimes there is money that comes even for members, maybe coming from political leaders. And unfortunately, some of the Kuppet or NAT officials were squandering that money. And of course, there is no way something of that sort will be a secret forever. So members could understand that. When it comes to welfare matters, they are also doing the favor, because they collect a lot of money, but they don't give to the member who has been bereaved enough money. So this has been a very saddening moment that really has made many teachers to be disillusioned, and therefore they are politically wiping offices. Now, the same might also happen in the political corridors because teachers influence voting a lot. And when I look at what has happened in NAT offices or KUPPET offices across the country, then we need leaders who are going to serve us. We don't need leaders who are going there to serve themselves. Yeah, they might actually improve their situation, but they don't have to just concentrate on that and forget about the citizens. And this is exactly what we want for the leaders who are coming in even from the political front. Now, guys, have you ever asked yourself whether elite people in the different areas are also aware about the political situations going on? Most people don't want to know. As long as they have a job, they keep off from politics. Now, currently, there are so many groups that are forming in different areas, and they are focusing on actually political awareness. And this awareness is very important because when you are informed, you don't make a misinformed decision during voting. Anyway, let's get to this and continue watching this drama in Kakamega because it was so interesting. I just have about 9 minutes to go, then I'll come back with a social reaction. Guys, I've never been so excited as today because of what happened in Kakamega. People are actually laughing at it and saying that people of Kakamega have taken so much bang that smoke is so so hot than even the tear gas. This is not a very good example to share, but at the same time, it becomes just interesting. Tear gas should not make you run from areas when you are fighting for. All right, what are you doing? So let's check into what happened again, because there are so many stations talking about this, including NTV and Citizens currently. So let's check at this chaos and how SIFUNA responded to that, among others. And of course, there are so many people who are trying to bring those chaos, but they were simply being chased away.
Asante. Kakamega oye! Hatutoroki leo, lazima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee. Lazima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee, hatutoroki leo. Hatutoroki leo. Hatutoroki leo. Lazima hiyo kitu. Lazima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee. Funika na jacket. Funika na jacket, mkutano lazima itaendelea. Tuendelee tusiendelee. Hakuna siku. Leo hatutoroki. Viva hiyo kitu kama baki. Viva hiyo kitu kama nyongi ya jana. Vijana murudi. Leo hakuna mkutano inaisha. Haiwezekani. Haiwezekani.
Now, guys, if you have ever attended the reggae performance, you understand what was being ignited here. There is a moment that I attended Burning Spear event at Kasarani, and actually SIFUNA decided to use that synonym. I don't know how it will actually hold on the political grounds, but anyway, it is a meme that is going to be here forever. But anyway, let's continue to check on this.
Tukae chini viongozi, tukae chini. Tukae chini. Tukae chini tafadhali. Tukae chini. Tukae chini. Tukae chini viongozi. Kakamega oye! Leo nataka niwaambie hapa ni nyumbani. Hapa nyuma yangu ni shule ya Kakamega Township Primary School. Hapo ndio hapo mbele
Sasa mchezo ulale mahali pako. Huko ndio unafanya karatasi
pale mbele kulikuwa na baa moja ilikuwa inaitwa Popin Bar. Mnakumbuka Popin? Mnakumbuka Popin? Saa ingine mzee ameingia hapo kunywa moja, mgeni anakuja nyumbani, baada yake kutuma uite mzee, lazima uingie polepole, unaanza kuta amekaribia uita. Mnakumbuka Popin? Pale nyuma kabisa kulikuwa na mahali ya kuona sinema za Kihindi. Hapa kwa hii kiwanja ndio tulikuwa tunaletewa sinema ya bure. Walikuwa wanatuonyesha James Bond kwa hii kiwanja. The Spy Who Loved Me niliona kwa hii kiwanja. Niliona Rocky kwa hii kiwanja. Kwa hivyo niko nyumbani, siko nyumbani. Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Na nyinyi ni kina nani? Nyinyi ni nani? Nataka mseme wasikie nyinyi ni kina nani? Walisema hatuingii hapa. Wametutisha mpaka wanatufuata, wanatuandama kama wanyama. Nataka niseme mambo mawili. Kule Kitengela waliua ndugu yetu mmoja miaka 28 anaitwa Vincent. Nataka DJ kwa heshima ya huyo kijana anaitwa Vincent, tutachapa stanza moja ya wimbo wa taifa. Naomba nipatiwe bendera yangu. Naomba nipatiwe bendera yangu. DJ, nataka sisi sote kwa heshima ya huyo shujaa anaitwa Vincent tupige stanza moja ya Kiswahili ya wimbo wa taifa wa Kenya. Twende kazi DJ. Twende kazi. Kitu moja peke yake. Nataka nieleze ni kwa nini Sifuna huyu wenu anaandamwa. Mimi naandamwa kwa kukumbusha William Ruto kwamba uliweka mkataba na baba Raila Amolo Odinga ya kwamba utaheshimu haki za watu kukutana kwa amani jinsi ambavyo tumekutana hapa. Kwa nini unatutupia TEARGAs? Hiyo si ni kukumbuka mkataba na baba? Tuliambiana William Ruto na baba walikubaliana ya kwamba weka hiyo maji chini bwana. Sisi ni wanaume. Sisi ni wanaume, wapige wengine kama watapiga. Wapige wengine kama watapiga. Tuliambia William Ruto mambo ya kuua vijana wetu itakoma. Wameua hawajaua. Wameua hawajaua. Tuliambia huyu jamaa hawache kuangamiza ugatuzi kule Nairobi. Wamechukua sasa hadi Musalia ndio gavana wa Nairobi. Sio ni kukandamiza ugatuzi. Makosa yangu kubwa sana. Nimesema kwamba Ruto 2027 lazima aende nyumbani. Na nasema hivyo kwa sababu ni yeye mmemtuma. Ruto, tafadhali wacheni fujo. Hii mkutano haikuishi bwana, leo watatuua tukiwa hapa maneno. Kwa hivyo nataka nimkamilishe nikisema sisi kama kikosi cha Linda Mwananchi tutatembea Kenya nzima, lakini tumeombwa na ndugu zetu Waislamu. Tumeombwa na ndugu zetu Waislamu ya kwamba kwa sababu ya mambo ya Ramadhani tupumzike kidogo, alafu tukimaliza Ramadhani tuende Mombasa. Wangapi wanasema tuende Mombasa? Wangapi wanasema tufike Mombasa? Jambo la mwisho, kuna ndugu yetu mwingine hapa anaitwa Anthony Kibageti. Kwa sababu wamesema Ruto one term, yule speaker Weta anamwandama kama mnyama. Wewe fikiria, Weta anasema ati hata ukizungumza kwa TV ati yeye anaweza kukuita kufukuze ndani ya bunge. Hata ukizungumza kwa disco matanga ati Weta anakufukuza kwa bunge. Nguvu za Weta zinaanza na kuisha ndani ya bunge. Hawezi kunifuata mpaka kwa bedroom ati nikipiga miss moja unanifukuza bunge wiki 3. Semeni Weta, shame on you. Asante sana, Mungu awabariki. Nataka nimkaribishe DJ.
Alright guys, so regardless of all that we had actually feared earlier, the goons, the planned attacks and all that, the rally was very successful, and I think it's a shame on the government actually. SIFUNA, ORENGO, BABU and his team are so proud about what they did, and I believe if they have a mission to accomplish, they would really accomplish it. But my question is, do you think that this group will win without combining effort with the united opposition? That's the key question I'm asking, because currently I feel that they need to actually be a strong team so that we just have two horses. So let's wait for more. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to the channel. Bye bye for now.